All right, first question. I'm a young officer, platoon commander. I deployed late. By the time I arrived on deployment, there had been some problems, and my company commander had been sent back to the States, and the company first sergeant had been redeployed to another country. Now there's a new company commander and new first sergeant. They're treating all the soldiers in my platoon and in the entire company as if we are all messed up. I don't like their attitude, and my gut tells me they're out to make themselves look good by crucifying more people in the platoons. I want to take care of my soldiers. How do I best stand up to the new leadership?
All right. So I would say the best way that you can take care of your soldiers is not to stand up to the new leadership, but instead to build a relationship with the new leadership. If you confront them, you confront the new leadership that's taken over, automatically they're going to see you as the enemy, right? Yeah. They're going to see whoever got sent home for whatever reason. Maybe there was some kind of a problem. Maybe there's definitely some kind of a problem. Someone got in trouble. Something happened bad. That's why guys are getting sent out of country or back to the States. If you confront the new leadership, that means you're on the bad guy's side. That's not where you want to be. Because if you're on the bad side, if you're on the bad list, then they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to trust you. And they're going to be suspect of you and of your soldiers. So that is not, confrontation in this is not going to be helpful. What you want to do is, if you can build a relationship with them, if you can try and understand their perspective, which is important, because they don't know. You get put into a position where you're taking over for a quote unquote bad boss, or a bad platoon or a bad company. You don't know what the specific problems are, so you're pretty suspect on everything, and you kind of have to be. So that's their perspective. Their perspective is like, yeah, we don't know what's going on in here. All we know is something bad happened. They fired the last company commander. They fired the last company first sergeant. Something bad happened here. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to let it happen to me. So I'm suspect of everything. So understand that perspective. And then listen to what they're saying. Try and give them some kind of support, right? Try and gain their trust. So that way they will listen to you and they will start to believe you. And then you will be in a position where you can actually protect the soldiers, right? If you get fired, you're not protecting your soldiers. If you go, oh, I'm going to stand up for you guys. Don't worry about it. You going, hey, you guys, you're treating my soldiers bad. Oh, really? You're fired. Now who's taking care of your soldiers? So be careful of that. Now, you could also be right. And these guys could be really, really bad. They could be out for themselves, out to make themselves look good. And if that is the case, well, it still remains that the best possible thing you can do for your soldiers is to develop a relationship with these guys. And make sure that as they're trying to make themselves look good, you protect your soldiers as much as you can. And if they end up being good guys, right, that were just, like I said, just coming into a bad situation, well, then you've got an opportunity. Then you form a relationship with them. And as you get through that, then you, on their good side, you're good to go that way as well. Now, this is where people get a little freaked out, right? Because I'm sitting here and I'm saying you got to play the game, right? People think I'm saying, hey, like, you need to brown nose.
Yeah. Be fake. And all this.
Yeah. Hey, here's the deal. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about brown nosing. I'm talking about being professional. I'm talking about being respectful. I'm talking about being humble. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about understanding their perspective. I'm not talking about brown nosing. Those things, that's not how you build relationships. And by the way, you don't build relationships through brown nosing either. If you just try and brown nose people, they don't respect you. That's not how you build relationships. You don't build relationship through brown nosing. All you do is submit. You don't build anything. You're just on the receive side. But if you're respectful and you're humble and you're professional, that's how you build relationships. And the better relationships you have up the chain of command, the better you can take care of the people below you in the chain of command. That's the way it works. Of course, this doesn't mean you're okay if your superiors are doing something that's illegal, immoral, or unethical, or if they're putting your troops or the mission in danger, right? We're not playing the game. We're not playing the game. Now, you might still even then have to play the game. If you were my boss, Echo, and you were like, hey, I want you to send your guys to attack that bunker on the elevated position right there, enemy bunker with a multiple machine guns in it, with interlocking fields of fire. And I'm like, we're not doing, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, if I tell you I will not do it, and you say, okay, fine, you're fired, you come here, you take the platoon and go attack, and now that guy does, and they all get killed. Maybe what I should have done was like, hey, Echo, we shouldn't do that. It's not a good plan. And you go, no, you do it anyways. I go, hey, that's not a good plan. And you say, go do it or I'm going to fire you. Okay, I'll go do it. And now when you do it, you go out and you flank. You do something different. You know what I mean? You make something happen. You mitigate the damage as much as possible. So that's a decision you're going to have to make. That's why being a leader is hard. Because that's a really hard decision to make right there. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I remember at the last muster, you're talking about like that very thing. Like you build a relationship with them, and you know some people every once in a while. I'm paraphrasing kind of what you said, where some people will look at it as brown nosing, and you're like, no, but you build a relationship with them. Every once in a while, you might brush the words. You'll brush. You might brush up against it. Every once in a while, then I'll come back or whatever. But the mission is worth that. You know, if I got to brush up against brown nosing just for a second to accomplish the mission or whatever, then that's what I'm going to do, kind of thing. And that's what a good leader does. I was like, yeah, man, that makes good sense. And really, so when I thought about that, I was like, well, really what that is a lack of perspective, or people forgetting about the big picture. You know,
you're forgetting what the big overall thing is. We're here to win. We're here to win.
We're here to win. Yes.
And if I gotta tell this guy, he's got to, that's a great plan, sir. Yeah. That you come up with some brilliant plans, sir. I'm going to go and execute that thing. So that he says, oh, see, Jocko gets it, and I'm going to go let him execute on his own. I'm not going to bother him because he understands my planning. Yeah. And then I go back to my guys and I go, hey, here's what we're doing. It's a little different from what the boss said, but don't worry. His intention was there. I'm not talking bad about the boss, but like, hey, this is what the boss wanted to do. I think this is how we're going to get it done. Yeah. Dude, don't talk bad about your boss. Yeah. You just say we're making some adjustments based on his guidance. Yeah. You actually give him credit. Yeah. That's how you get it done. You brushing up against brown nosing a little bit. But again, if you're just a full-on brown noser, you're not developing relationships. You're just an ass kisser, and it's not going to go good for you. Yeah. Because think about this. Here's why. And I just thought of this myself. Here's why a brown noser isn't developing a relationship. And here's how it's not good to just be a brown noser. Does the superior listen to the brown noser? Does he respect their opinion? No, not really. Yeah. He's just looking at him like, oh, yeah, that's old Echo. Yep. Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yep. Yeah. Yep. You can do whatever I say. You nice little yes, man. Cool. Yeah. You give me input. I'm like, oh, thanks, Echo. That's good. Thank you. Now, hey, the big boys are over here trying to talk. Can you just excuse yourself? You don't want to end up like that. You're
kind of the guy who like the iconic picture of the guy fanning the other guy and feeding him grapes. You're like that guy. Cool to have around. Sweet. Yeah. But yeah, man.
But he's not giving any strategic input on the operations.
Not building the relationship.
So, yeah, build a relationship, man. Don't confront. Build.
Yeah, I think we're distracted by that, right? The feeling you get when this new guy comes. I don't like the way he said that to me, even though what he said was really important. I don't like the way he said it.
You know what's interesting is when a lot of leadership books that we've discussed and a lot of leadership guidance will say if you're a new leader coming in, you just don't start barking orders, right? You just don't start saying, hey, do this, we're changing that. You assess and you look around and you make sure. Now, occasionally this doesn't happen. There's things that happen. If you're taking over a totally messed up unit or team, then you might have to go in there and lay down some law. But generally, you come in and you assess and then you see what's wrong and you see where some adjustments could be made. Now think about that from the other side, from down the chain of command. You also shouldn't jump to conclusions and be like, oh, the new boss is an idiot or the new boss has this plan. No, you should be like, okay, let's see what his plan is. Yeah. You should both have a little period of like a cooling down period, but a warming up period. Sure. Yeah. The opposite of a cooling down. It's a warming up. It's getting to know each other. Yeah.
Funny. This is way out of left field, but
so big shocker.
So Greg McIntyre, he made this one comment where he was explaining like how he rolled with like some famous person, and like he rolled. I was like, oh yeah, like how was that? You know how you want the full report. Like how was it rolling? I forget who it was, but he was like, nah, it was a full on first date roll.
Oh yeah.
But and I had never heard that before, but I knew exactly what that meant. It was like, I'm not gonna go hard in the paint off the bat.
No.
I can feel he's not going hard, and it's just kind of feeling out, and a lot of respect throughout the whole thing.
What level does that start at in jiu-jitsu?
What do you mean?
Like what? How good do you have to be in jiu-jitsu before you start like having a little nice, gentle
First date rule.
You know what I call it is just respectful.
Yeah.
Like here's an example. You just don't dive on the ankle lock.
Yeah.
2 seconds into rolling.
Yeah.
It's like, oh really?
Sprawling
Okay.
hard and,
I mean, I've had that happen. And then I've had to, take appropriate, we'll call them measures.
Right. And you see, and and that's the whole reason for the first date roll, really. Because it's like cool. You start to roll the guy, you've heard of him, and he's heard of you, or whatever the situation is. And you guys roll, and in your mind, you're kind of like, hey, I'm going to give this guy some respect. And he doesn't. He goes all out first thing. It's kind of like you got offended a little bit. Not majorly, but there's that little inkling of, oh, all right. Yeah. It's something. Yeah. It's not nothing. It's something. But compared to just some dude, let's say we're all training some new person, whatever, in the gym, and you guys are all going hard. It's all good. You're going hard. That's
I notice like basically purple belts, they're coming at me. Brown belts and black belts, it's all cool. Yeah. It's like mutual respect, and we'll roll. And I'm not saying and I'm not saying don't roll hard, and I'm not saying you don't escalate, because as you get to going, like things escalate, and that's you get to know each other. Now it's okay to get after it a little bit. Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird little unwritten thing in jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Like I don't really. I guess it's just respect.
Yeah, I think
just respect. So do that up and down the chain of command too.
Yeah, like
a little respect.
It's that first date, like. Period, like how you said that period.
Let's get to know a little warming up period.
Warming up period. Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
Give your bosses that slack.
Yeah, fully. All respect, all nice,